Just to quickly commend the organizations of this, the organizers of this event. It's good to be here. I have the enviable assignment to make a case for women. Now, about 8 years ago, we founded a microfinance bank, which I ran as MD CEO. And so business started, and we started to do business, to lend money. But we decided to do an experiment, to bunch men, to put like 50 men in a group, and then also have 50 women in a group, and then, and so we lent to these groups. Now, summary of it, the conclusion is that when we profiled, what had happened, repayment with the men was about 60%, but repayment with the women was close, between 90 and 100, and that makes a very strong case for women. So I think you should clap for the women. So, bringing women into the financial space is very smart, and it is what to do. That's the illustration I gave. That's what it speaks to. In our country and on our continent, about half of our population is women. For various reasons, poor education, the gaps, the religious biases, ethnic issues, you discover that quite a large number of our women are still kept out of the space. But, for the companies that we have been, for the organizations that we're involved with, what we have continuously done, also working with government, the agencies of government, central bank, is to constantly, support getting women into the financial space. Now, some of the information I'm going to share here is not something that we all don't know. Women are usually financial managers in homes. I've found from my own mother, from my wife, they multitask better, and they pay attention to details. Women, also even professionally, in working, with women, we found that they're able to manage smaller sums than men. So they've got the competence to manage the finances of the home. They've got the competence to multitask, and they've got the capacity, and speaking to African women and Nigerian women, the capacity to manage details. And you also realize, okay, that in our environment in Nigeria and Africa, if a woman, if you put money in the hands of a woman, you have put money in that home. You're almost absolutely sure that money is not going to go outside of the home. And the more prosperous the home becomes, the more prosperous the home becomes, the more the woman is able to do for members of the extended family. And then you can stretch it. And you have illustrations where as they prosper, they're able to even think of people outside of the families. You find the women are engaged with orphanages, NGOs, and those kind of things, perhaps more than men. Now, in developing economies where we have gaps, we have more men today having bank accounts than women. And yet we have just about the same number of women as we have men on the continent. Again, about 5.5 years ago, we founded yet another company, and it's in the mobile money space. It's one of the mobile money companies now. Again, what we also did, we stretched the illustration, the example that we had with the microfinance bank, and again, started to lend to women from their mobile phones and also men. And you find that even though it seems like the men understand the applications better, but repayment, again, even as I speak, is better with the women. I wish it wasn't like that, but it's just what we found in the space. So what has also happened even with our mobile money company today is that we have built a strong division, that is focused on doing business with women. In fact, beyond that, what we've also done is to have like an academy which trains them, puts them in the right state where they can engage their own business, and then where they can do business with the mobile money company. So those are the numbers. I just thought I would share some data. So today, women are usually behind the men in the numbers. But we believe, okay, that as we move forward in the days ahead, women will very steadily catch up. Okay, that's the numbers for the formal and informal sector. The women, 4.3, and then the men 5.2, and then 45.3 for informal sector for women, and then 48 for men. SMEs. About 38% of formal SMEs in the emerging markets are owned by women. We think that, if what our own studies show that if we can move that to about 50 or way above 50, we'll start to feel the impact in our societies. Our understanding of how these things work is that, you deal with the citizens, and, in this case, if we speak to women, if you get it right with the citizens, you'll get it right with the communities, small communities. If you get it right with the communities, then you'll sort out the issues of the cities. Okay, because cities are a conglomeration of communities. And then if you can deal with that, the citizens, the communities, the cities, you sort out the issues of the countries. And then we can eventually be looking at taking care of the issues of our continent. So the numbers, 40% of the global workforce is female. Again, numbers. 38% being women, 62% being men for ownership of SMEs in the emerging markets. And then, number for workforce, 40% for women and 60% for men. Ultimately, the case is we must consistently work to turn this around. These are figures, that are available, to all of us. If you look at the education bit, we've got about 74% of women of the female gender with some education. And so we have about 26.5% no education at all. Now, we've got to do work in that space. Okay, so we also, education plays a key role, both general and specific, not only for our services, not only for our products, also just, for the well-being and for the positioning of our women. And another figure there that says over 50% of the women are under 33 years old. And we've got a long future ahead of us. And so there's work that has to be done at this point. There's got to be positioning, okay? It's also now not, it's not a secret that the continent has, the continent and our country has significant human capacity, human capital. And so we've got to put capacity in those people. And so that's that's it. 71% of our people and of our women are in the rural areas. So we've got to find products that would, that would serve, that would serve people in the rural areas. Today, a large number of the companies in the space, operate in the cities: Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, But yet, a large number of the people are in far-flung places outside of the cities, and it therefore also says, okay, that if you like, perhaps that's blue ocean for us, that we have not quite found a way to engage. Products, services that we can offer offer not just to women, to people in the space, payment, credit, insurance, savings, loans, pensions, mobile money. And even these have to be extended. Challenges that we face in bringing women into the financial space. Gender discrimination. What we have found, because we've got our experts on the field working on this, it's not just male discrimination against women. We also even have female-to-female discrimination. We've got those instances, which we must overcome. But it's a good thing that the central bank is positioning to skew some funding in favor of women. We have no doubt in our minds that as that is done, the children and the families and the communities will definitely benefit from these moves. Lack of land. Again, in working with farmers and people in the rural areas, some of what we have found is that some of our, the ethnic biases do not allow for women to have ownership, ownership of land. Now, as we move forward, we must find ways to alter that in their favor. The situation now, what it does is that it makes them hired hands in the farms. So they are not able to position as owners. SME credits, and then policies, that our policies need to be sensitive to women. We've got a couple of institutions that are already, that have products and services focused on women, Access Bank, Fortis, UBA itself. We have programs that are focusing on, on enhancing women. And then a minus also still is poor infrastructure. And some of the infrastructure is not just physical, some of it is social. Indeed, a large portion of the challenges that we have in the space is soft. Okay, this is what the CBN said to us, that between now and 2020, we're going to reduce, the percentage that is outside of the space for women. We're glad to be working, with the agencies and with the central bank in that context. Something to note on this slide is that the central bank has said that 132 billion naira of the 20 billion, the fund for micro, small, and medium enterprises, will be positioned to support women. We think this is a good thing to do. We think beyond it being the policy, we've got to find ways to implement. All right, key policy principles. Now services that will, be geared towards, bringing women into the space. We've spoken to them, savings, credit, pension, things like that. Women are usually in some traditional businesses. So we've got to find ways to move them into traditions, into non-traditional, for example, at the lower level, carpentry, masonry, tile making. And I am particularly passionate about those vocations, because I do believe, and this is research-based, that the next wave of engagement and employment for the large number of our people, yes, will be in agric and agro-allied, but would also be in the vocations. We must encourage market-based solutions targeting women. We've seen some work getting done there. Facilitate the use of intermediaries, agents, and we've spoken to agency work. Establish and share a national database of information about women. Indeed, we've got to do more than just focus on sharing information about women. We've got to strengthen the database regarding just, how we get things done across the country, profiling, so that information is readily available for people who want to work, and also also for companies in the country, and also for investors who are looking, to partner with companies in the country. Encourage diverse funding products, and develop financial literacy programs. We see some work being done again by the central bank. We also see some work being done by some national companies. We've got to do a whole lot more. We've lost time, so we've got, the pace has got to pick up. We've got to do a whole lot more. And then focus on policy implementation. More than, crafting policies, what we need to do, and I've said that earlier on now, is that we need to implement. We've got to find the capacity to implement. Okay, so innovative products, innovative channels. We found, that technology by itself, doesn't. It must be adapted to the people, to their lifestyle. Okay, and that's where, for our stakeholders today, we still have a lot of work to do. A lot of the work that has been done, like I said earlier on, it's been in the cities and in the metropolis. But we've got to find ways to adapt, our services and our products and our solutions to people who are not located in a Lagos, for example. To people who are located in the farthest corners of the east, of the south, of the north, across parts of the country. That's where the larger population of Nigeria is. Development of secure transactions and framework. A number of companies, represented here already engaged in those processes, including Ingenico. Gender-sensitive practices in product design. We spoke to that earlier on. Credit reporting. This is important. Again, it speaks to data, and it speaks to data management. Some of the work that we do in Abuja includes, if you like, call it lobbying, getting the executive and getting the legislature to see and to think in ways that would enhance the market and its segments. Okay, so we do need, beyond, private sector players, we do need the executive, and we do need the legislature, framing policies that will advance, that will enhance the positions that we're taking in the marketplace. In partnership with a number of people that we currently work, we believe, okay, that our country is at a very unique place today. We think that Africa itself has a very good look, it's at a very good place. But we also believe, okay, that we've got a lot of work to do. And this work is going to be between government, and it's going to be with the private sector. And we believe, okay, that the people that are in the best position to get this work done are sons and daughters of the continent, Africans, and we must pay a lot of attention to how the Africans, again, like I said previously, who are not in the cities, the Africans who are located in the rural area, in the corners of the continent, how they're living their lives. We must not try to alter their lifestyle. We must try to layer our services, our products and solutions on the way that they're positioned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.